Another section brought to you by UrBizEdge. For today's session, we're having analyzing and creating a predictive model using Binance API. Today's session is brought to you by myself, Temidayo Omoniyi. So we'll talk about the company I work for, UrBizEdge. So UrBizEdge is a registered Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We specialize in helping companies and high-value professionals be on top of their business data. As you know, we're also the developer of some financial tools such as the Nigerian Finance Market Analysis tool, which you can find in the Microsoft Office store. We're also the developer of Nigerian stock and we also created several stock market dashboard and so many more. You can check it out with link over there. As you know, also a training company in Lagos, Nigeria. So this is our calendar for some of our upcoming training. So on the 5th of December, which is tomorrow, we're having financial modeling and DCF valuation. On the 8th of December, we're having business intelligence and dashboard using Microsoft Power BI. For some of you want to learn data analysis and dashboard creation using Power BI. On the 16th of December, we'll be having in-depth Excel training, executive dashboard, and business data analysis. So I'll give you a brief about myself, Temidayo. So I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst with over, which I'm also a data analyst, business intelligence analyst, and also a data scientist with over 3 years combined experience. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer who has passion for sharing knowledge and helping and mentoring young data analysts. I've developed different custom solutions on Microsoft Office. I enjoy creating educative content on UrBizEdge YouTube channel and other platform. I enjoy writing code and automating different business processing using Microsoft Power Automate Python. So no further ado, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll go over to the program of today. Okay, let's see. Okay. So go over to the program of today. Okay, come in. So today we're going to be talking about how can you get Binance API data and also how to create a predictive model. So the tool we'll be using for this section is called Python. So my name is Temidayo Omoniyi. So we're doing analysis and creating of predictive model using Binance API. So I'll just give a disclaimer. I'm not a financial person. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not a trader of any sort. This is just for educative purpose. So I'm not a financial expert. Therefore, this webinar is for educative purpose only and only aim to show you how to connect to Binance API using Python library. So let's talk about Binance, right? So Binance is the world leading cryptocurrency exchange with over billions of US dollars in daily trading volume. You can find this information in Coinbase Market. It was founded in 2017 and it works with cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is a digital currency that uses encryption to protect it from counterfeiting or duplicating spending. So the library we'll be using is called Python Binance. Python Binance is an application programming interface that allows you to connect and interact with Binance server by the Python programming language. It's more like an interface that connects to Binance API. So this is how this is we plan to do today, right? Generating a Binance API key, data transformation and data cleaning. Basically, you call it data transformation, some people call it data cleaning. Anyone, they're both the same thing. Data visualization. So this is where you get your charts, your graphs, and some other visualization. And also creating a predictive model using Google TensorFlow. So you can use Google TensorFlow for Keras. So this is the project architecture. So these are the various steps we're going one after the other. So the first thing, for you to go, for people want to go along with me, you have to have a Binance account. So one of the compulsory things is you have to have a Binance account. I will be using the Python programming language for this. So I'll be using Jupyter Notebook. I will connect my Jupyter Notebooks to Binance using the API. That's the Binance API. So after that, I'll do a visualization using the MPL Finance library. And after that, I'll go create a predictive model using the TensorFlow. That's Google TensorFlow and Keras. So the libraries we'll be using for today is Google TensorFlow and Keras, MPL Finance Library. MPL Finance Library is a library used for finance. But some of you like to trade online. All these candlesticks, your trends, your sparklines, and the rest. So you can use a lot of MP Finance. Is very good for that. Also, we're using the Python Finance library, which is a library that's going to serve as an interface between your computer, your local machine, and the Binance API. Also, the library we'll be using also is Pandas, NumPy, and Matplotlib. Those are the libraries we use for visualizations. So because of security reason, right, I will not be opening I won't log into Binance. So I'll just be doing a presentation from here. So the first thing you need to do is you first need to go to your Binance account and log into your Binance account. For some of you that already have a Binance account, you need to log into Binance account. So when you log in, you go to your profile. This is the profile over here. As you can see my mouse. First I wrote step 1 is the profile. When you get to the profile, you scroll down to give you like a drop down. You scroll down to you see API management. You click on API management, which I wrote as step 2. This API management is step 2. So after that, it's open an instruction for you, right? So Binance will tell you that you should read through this instruction. To read through this instruction provided by Binance, then click on the create API button. So these are the instructions the API management will give to you. It tells you what each account can create up to 30 API keys. That means for a single account, you are generate at least up to 30 API keys. So if I have an account which is Temidayo XYZ, I can create a Binance API key up to 30 times. That's what it actually means, right? Step number 2, which is actually like a warning, it says that do not disclose your API key to anyone to avoid access being lost. It is recommended to bind API. It is recommended to bind your IP, that's your IP address, Internet Protocol, or API key to increase your amount of security. Beware that your API key may be disclosed to unauthorized to authorize it as a third-party platform. You will not be able to create an API if KYC is not completed. So the meaning of KYC means know your customer. For some of you now that you're doing, let's say for instance, now I want to open a bank, I want to open a fintech account. They ask you for things like your address, things like they can easily use to trace you, like your address, your phone number, some other key information. They call it KYC. It means know your customer, right? So if you don't have all your KYC completed, like your phone number, some verification, some just like your passport, you cannot create an API key. Okay. So after you've read through this all information, you click on the create API at the top here, which I highlighted here. Create API. Okay. So now you have to create an API label. That's what it means. So instead of you'll be expected to provide an API label name. This will be the name registered by your API. So this part, because I actually blurred it out because I've actually created it before. So I don't, as I told you, this due to security reasons, right? So you have to create an API name, right? So the API name can give any name, but it must be unique to you. When you've written the name, click on next. After you click on next, so you get to the security and authentication stage. So Binance will send a code to your email, to your phone number, and also to an authenticator app such as Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator. So you can see the different spaces here, right? When you get to this point, Binance will send you a notification like a secret key. You have to put the secret key in your email first of all. So I've actually blurred out my email address here. So put the first key as your email address. When you put it, you click on get code. After that, you put your phone number, click on get code, they'll send you a code. The last step is now to do the authenticator. Either you're using Google Authenticator or using Microsoft Authenticator. Any of the two authenticator works perfectly fine. So after you're done, this is going to be the final step where you get your API key and secret key. So you can see the two places I blurred out, the API key, you can copy it and keep it in a very secure place that only you have access to. Also the same thing, your secret key, copy it, put it in a secure place that only you have access to. You can also create another level of protection by adding an API, by adding an IP address. By adding an IP address, it only means that only the laptop you added as an IP address can only log in Binance API. So you get right. So I think that's all the presentation on how to create an API key for Binance. Because I don't go to my Binance account and start creating all the process all over again because it might take a little bit of time. So this is how you create an API key from Binance. So let me check if I have any question before I continue. I'll go to my Jupyter notebook. I'll start proper. Okay, awesome. No questions so far. So next, I'm going to go to my Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook. So, okay, what I'll do now, I will share everyone the GitHub code to it. So I'm opening my GitHub and I'm also open my Medium. For some of you want to follow along with me. So I have the code already on my GitHub. So I'm going to search for Binance. So Binance. So then all this is how to do today is actually here. It's actually here. So you can see this is the code over here, the Binance code. So this is the Python file, the Jupyter Notebook Python file. This is it over here. So for some of you want to follow along with me, this is for you. So I'll just copy the code. You can just FRK the code, just copy the code, and also you can give the thumbs up, like a like. So I'll paste the code in the chat box. That's the GitHub repo. I'll call it GitHub repo. I'll paste it inside here. But some of you want to go along with me. Also, the article I wrote about it, I'm just gonna give me a little bit of seconds. Okay. But some of you want to like understand better, I'll also send you the article on Medium. Okay, so cool. So for any of you want to follow along with me, I've given you the GitHub code. I've also given you the Medium post, so you can just go along. It's actually a step-by-step process, because this project actually took me like a month to complete. So I'm trying to do this within an hour. So I don't think we'll see where we can stop, where we can end for today. But let's just start. So this is the Jupyter Notebook, right? I've actually broken everything step by step for everyone, so we can go along step by step. So the first step is actually setting up the Binance API, which I've already explained to everyone already from the PowerPoint presentation I just did. So this is just the first step, right? You go to your Binance account. You must be, I'm actually verified here. This is actually my account, but I've blurred out so many information because I don't want people to get some information. So you click on the profile. From profile, you go to API management. For API management, you read all the instructions here. And also the GitHub code I sent you, it has this file. This is the same file I'm using right now. You click on the create an API. You add the label, you create a label name, which is your API name. You go to the security verification. This is the authentication stage where they send you a code to your email, to your phone number, and also to an authenticator app. You also add an IP address. That's if you want to add extra level of protection. And that's all. So let's start proper. So the first library I'm going to be using is called the Python Binance. Remember, I said the Python Binance serves as a connection between what your Jupyter Notebook and your Python and your Binance API. That's the Binance server. So it serves as a connection. So for some of you that are using Jupyter Notebook, you can install it directly from here by just putting the first sign and say install Python library. Or if you are using the Python IDE, you can just open your command prompt. I'm using the Anaconda command prompt, right? I think I'm using TensorFlow virtual machine. Activate TensorFlow Python 3.7. So from here, you can just put in that pip. You just come here, you say, you copy this, and you come here, and you say, install. That's why I press enter. But because I've already installed this already on my system, I don't need to do it again because it might just start taking a lot of time. When you install it, you have to test it by typing Python. And when you type Python, it opens the Python library. So you have my Python ID now instead of my Anaconda prompt, and you can just write whatever you want to write. So I've already installed this. So the first thing I have to install all necessary library. I have to import all necessary library. So I've explained all the library one after the other. So the first library is your config parser. The reason I'm using a config parser, it gives me an extra level of security. You remember, I've been emphasizing the word security since, because Binance has to assets, and you don't want to put the wrong your IP address to the wrong hand. So I'm using a lot of security. Actually, when I was creating this page, I did like over 4 different levels of security, but I actually use Binance a lot. So that's why I'm emphasizing a lot on security. So the first thing you need to do is, wait, I can see some messages. Let me confirm. The first thing you need to do is you need to import config parser, right? So config parser gives you another level of security, and I'll show you how it does that. After you've imported config parser, which these are some of the libraries you need to import config parser. You need to import RE. RE stands for regular expression. You need to import. So now this is how you now import your Binance library. But some of you have asked, you don't really know much about the Binance library. You can just open your browser and go to pip install Binance client library. So this just won't give you like this official documentation for the Binance library in Python. So I'll just copy the URL link for everyone down to just read more about it. So it just gives you the different steps on how to use it. You can see this one I'm actually doing right now. From Binance, import clients, traded WebSocket management, and some other things, right? So I'll paste it to the chat group over here also. Okay, so I'll continue now. So I said from Binance, import license, traded WebSockets, traded depth. So these are the libraries these are the key features I'll be needing from those library. I also imported what? Pandas. Pandas is used for data manipulation and data structuring. I also imported Seaborn, which is used for data visualization. I also imported NumPy. NumPy is used for numerical analysis. Also date and time. Date and time is for if you are doing anything has to do with dates and time. So just like for calendar table and the rest. And Matlab is for data visualization. So I will run this by pressing the keyword Shift Enter. Shift Enter is used to run your code. Now ready to run this, yes? Shift Enter. Let me just start off so it will be easier. So I can't follow. Okay, so I'll run this again. Enter. Okay, so it's running now. Okay. So while this is running, the next step is what? Configuration and authentication. This part is very, very important. This was the reason why I created the config parser, and I'll show you why. So because of I don't want to put my IP address and my IP secrets inside of my code. I have to use a config parser. So what this basically does is that to set up the client key and authentication to Binance, a Python class is called config parser implements a simple configuration language for Python app. It offers a framework resembling init file for Microsoft Windows. Config parser enables you to create a Python application that end user can simply modify. So the purpose is mainly for security, right? So that's the main purpose of using the config parser. So what I did now is I opened my notebook. So you open your notebook, like your normal notebook or Sublime Text, anything you use. When you open your notebook, you have something like this, right? Just give me a second. Give me a couple of minutes. So when I open my notebook, I have something like this here, right? So what I just did was I just typed Binance. So the name I'm looking for is called Binance. That's the name, first of all. And I'm putting my IP key. Remember, the IP key, I've already gotten the IP key from the Binance, which I've already generated already the other time. That's what you have generated. That's what I told you should copy in a secret place. Your IP key and your IP secret. So you have to put your IP key here. I'll put as XSS. After getting your IP key, you also put your what? API secret. API secret. There's another secret key. So you put the two keys here. When you put the two key, right? That's not all. Remember, this is a notepad. And when I'm saving a notepad, it saves as what? It saves as a what? It saves as a text file. That's txt file. But because of I want to save it as a what? Config parser. I will save the file not as a text file, but I'll save it as a .ini init file. Right? So when you're saving your file, save it as .ini file. So what I mean is when you're saving, why are you saving as .txt, which stands for note? You save it as .ini. .ini is the recognized way. This one gives another level of security. Don't save it as a doc text file. You get it, right? After you're done with that, when you save it, that's basically what I did here. I have to now read the config file. Remember, if I go back here now, this was the file I saved. This is here. Config.init. The name of the file is called what? Config.init. Okay. So I come back here. I will have to now read the config file, right? What I did, I said what config equals to config parser. Remember that I said config parser is used to read init files. I'll say equals to config parser, right? Config.read init file. That's the file. The directory also matters because we're in the same directory. I don't need to put any forward slash and change and get the directory paths anymore because I'm in the same directory, so I can still go on. I will now say API key equals to config. So in that my Binance, now I said what Binance API key. If you look at here now, the name of the file is what Binance. The first this thing is what API key. That's what I actually did here. I'm actually reading. So basically, I'm reading the API key, right? After you've done that, the next one is what API secrets. You send it to Binance.api square bracket API secrets. So I'll run this by pressing Shift Enter. Shift Enter is the shortcut for running the cell. No issue, it has run perfectly well. So the next thing is to create a variable for both the API key and the secret key, right? The reason I'm not typing this code out outrightly because of this is actually a very long process. So it's a full project, and because of time, we have less than an hour to do all of this. So I said what? Client equals to client open bracket API key. So I'm getting the API key. I'm creating a variable for both the API key and also the API secret using client, right? So I'll just run this. That's run successfully well. So the next thing I'll be needing now is some libraries. I'll be needing the Python MPF Finance. So for some of you that are traders and the rest, there's a library we use in Python called MPF Finance. So you guys need to get things like client, things like candlestick, things like basically trend, line chart and rest. So let me just show you to do this. So if I copy this library, if I go to, let me just search for a library. Let's say install MPL Finance, right? This is the library here. For some of you want to install library, I know more about the library. So this is how the library works. So it's essence was utility for visualizing and visual analysis for financial data. So it's used basically for only financial data. It's actually an add-in also for Matplotlib. It's part of the Matplotlib family thing. Okay. So if you scroll down, these are the different steps of using the library itself. So these are basically different things you can use in the library. You can see these are different charts you can get with that same library. That's MPL Finance. You can see these are candlesticks. These are line charts. So it gives you better financial description than the normal pandas, than the normal Matplotlib Seaborn, because this library is specifically for what? Financial analysis. Okay, so you can see different libraries you can use over here. And you can see so many. So I'll just copy this link. So if you want to read more about it, I'll paste it here. Right? Enter. Okay, cool. So let me go back to my code. So I've actually installed the library also already. You can also install it directly from your Jupyter notebook by just writing this line of code. So I'll just copy this line of code for you guys also to install it directly on your Jupyter notebook. Okay, cool. So let's keep running. So get sticker. So sticker just basically give you all the, when you are doing trading. I'm in Nigeria, right? So the sticker code for Nigerian currency is NGN, right? For US dollars, USD, right? So there are different sticker names. So what I want to do now, this partner gives me all the sticker name with their prices. I want to get all the sticker name with the prices. So I'll just run this code over here, this line of code. You can see what's happening right now is that the API are connected now directly now to Binance. So I'm able to pull in data from Binance. I'm able to pull in that sticker name data from Binance. That's different cryptocurrency price from Binance. And I should show me as a list format. With the curly bracket is more like I'm writing like a JSON kind of file. So I have to change this from this format to a tabular data. And what can I use to change to a tabular data is using pandas. Remember, pandas is used for what? Data manipulation. Also, I have to change it to a tabular form because this is shown as curly bracket, more like a JSON format. So I have to wrap it in a data frame. So I run this. Like I see, right? I have now the rows, I have the columns. I can start showing me I have what? Symbol and price. So what is there showing me now is Ethereum to Bitcoin. That's ETH to Bitcoin. The changing rate is actually what? Is 0.07. That's the price. Let's check the first 50 or let's say first 20. So Binance.ed gives you the first 5 rows. So if I put 20, it's going to give me the first 20 rows. If I run this now, I'm going to get the first 20 rows. Now, can you see? These are the first 20 rows of all the data. Now, I can see I have the ETH to BTC, LCH. There's so many. I don't know all of this, right? Remember, I told you I'm not a trader. I'm just doing for educational purpose. So now what I want to do is I want to make the symbol as my index. But now you can see my index is showing me what? 0, 1. I don't have an index here. So I have to make the symbol as my index next. So I'll run this also. And I also share Binance.edge. So .edge gives me the first 5 rows. So if I run this, like I can see now, the symbol now is not my word, it's not my index. I've made the symbol my index. So next thing I have to do now, if I just keep scrolling, right? How does some certain kind of crypto price, like, okay, what is Ethereum to BTC, right? So if I run this, you show me this is price. Let me check. Let's say Ethereum to USD. Let's say USDT. Let me check this also. Or you can see that means one Ethereum is what? 1,257.79 USDT. Let's check Ethereum. Let me check BTC to USD. So USD is the universal US dollars. Wow, so that's this was 17. Even crypto has actually dropped. It has really dropped. So this is 17,000. That means one Bitcoin is 17,000 US dollars, right? So let's go in depth now. So to go in depth, we'll be using the get order book. So get order book gives you the historical data, right? So it just gives you all the data for a particular crypto. So I want to get all the data for what? Ethereum to what? BTC. So I'll run this. Wow. You can see it's giving me all the data, but this is not still good. It's not still arranged. Let me now wrap it in a data frame next. So I'll wrap this in a data frame to visualize it better. Wow. So now you can see it give me what? The price and the volume. Price and volume. Let me just make it. Let me see the first 20. Let me see. Okay. So you see me gave me all the price, that's individual price and the volume, individual price and the volume, individual price and the volume. Okay, awesome. So let's now get historical data information. Things like, for some of you that are traders and professional finance people, you get things like open time. That's the time they started trading. Like things like the New York Stock Exchange now. After Friday, they stop trading, right? So weekends they don't trade. You have to wait to get till Monday again, right? So things like the open time. The open, so open stands for the what they when I start a trade now, what price did I start with? So I gives you the highest price of that day, low gives the lowest price. Why did it close? Close means okay, I started with $100, right? At the close of the day, maybe I'm closing the price with like $200. So that's why the close price is. So most times, most finance people they really focus more on the closing price. But I don't know about that. It's just for mostly finance people. Also, the volume, that's volume of trade most times. Closing time, what assets volume, number of trades, takers buy based on assets volume, takers buy quote assets volume, and the last one just ignore it. That ignore it. It's not really necessary, right? So I'm going to do what? I'm going to create a new variable called what? Historical underscore df. I will say client dot get historical claim. So I'm going to get all the historical data, and I'm doing what? My interval is what? I'm starting from the year 2018. So I'm going to do from the year 2018 up to today. By 2022, right? By today is December 4th, 2022. So I'm gonna get all the historical data for this particular ticker, which is Ethereum to BTC from January 1st, 2018 up to today. So if I run this code over here, it's gonna start scraping. Now I think this might take okay, awesome. No issue. So let me just check the data. Wow, awesome. You can see all the information, but this is not arranged properly well. Let me make it a data frame now. So I'll run this, I'll change to a data frame to make it to have both rows and columns. So I'll run this. Awesome. So if you want to see this, right, I can just, okay, let me just make it to see this. So let me create a new column. I'll copy this, paste this, dot add, right? If I run this, you can see each of them, right? But it is not making sense. Why is that? I'm just seeing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's why I added, if I scroll up, you can see these are the column name of the historical data I want to give. Open price, open, high, low, close, volume, close time, and the rest, right? But you can see it's just showing me numbers. So I have to create, I have to add a column name to all of this. So I've created a list for all the columns here, which is what historical data dot column equals to open price, open, historical data, low, close, and the rest, right? So if I run this now, if I run this and I run this now, you can see now all of them now has what they have a column name, they have an header name. All of them have what an header name. Awesome. So if I scroll down again, right, how to know get information about the data. So to get the data type, it's like, is it a text, is it an integer, is it a date and time, is it an object, things like that. Usually they call the .info. .info gives you the basically gives you information about the data, right? So if I run this, if you look at this part here, right? If you look at this area here, this particular area, I have what? You can see the opening time is giving me as integer, which is wrong. Opening time is meant to give me as what? It's meant to be a date and time, but it's shown as what? It's shown as an integer. You get what else? You can see open is shown as an object, which is wrong. It's meant to be a what? An integer. It's meant to be an integer. So it's actually the way it is scripted. I didn't script it in the right format. That's one of the beautiful things about using things like Power Query. Power Query just by a click of a button, you can change it from text to number or from from text to date and time. But because of this is not Power Query, this is Python, we have to convert it towards that open now convert it towards dates. But that's the beautiful thing about Power Query. It's more like a GUI, just graphic user interface for cleaning of your data. So if I scroll down, you can see this is giving me the wrong information for the data type. I have to convert the data. This is where the data transformation now start coming in. So what I did now here is that I got the open time, I also got the close time, and I converted it towards date and time. Date and time in what seconds, right? So I'm converting it to date and time in what seconds. So if I run this part now, right? And let's check it now. If I run this, also this one also too. For the other ones that are shown as objects, they're meant to be what? They're meant to be integer. So I'm also going to clean that also by doing what? I'm going to convert it to what? To numerical. That's feed it to numeric also here. So if I run this, and let's now check the data type. The data type don't give us all the data type now. You can see I've arranged it back now. The open time is showing me what? Date and time. The open is showing me what as a float. So all of these are now what are shown as what floats now. That's one of the beautiful things there. Close time now is showing me what as what date and time. So I've changed all the data type to the right format now. So let's now do the data visualization step. So if I run this, right? Okay, so now for the data visualization, I'll be using two libraries, the Matplotlib and also the the PLF, so MPL Finance Library. Remember, I told the MPL Finance Library is used for what? Financial visualization and analysis. It's very good for that. Very, very, very good for that. So if I run this, right? So what I have to do now to see the close price. So I want to see the lowest. So there's something called head and tail, right? So tail gives you the bottom value, while head gives you the top values, right? So I want to see the last 100 values. That's what the tail stands for. So if I run this, it's going to give me the lowest. So now for this price, now it's going to give me the lowest value for all the trades. I can say I have a message. Let me check the message. Okay, I've already pasted the link to the notebook. So it's actually on my GitHub. It's on my GitHub. I'll paste it again. Yes, it's being recorded. I pasted the link to the notebook. It's on my GitHub. So when you get to GitHub, just can see this word, the FORK. Just if you have a GitHub account, you can just easily plug this, and also you can download it directly. And also, there's actually a blog around it. I've written a blog around it to explain better around it. So let me just copy the link to this, and I'll paste it also to the meetup. Okay. So this just give me the closing price, right? The closing price of what the BTH to the ETH to BTC. This gives me all the closing price of everything, right? And I wrote what tail. Tail gives me the last 100 value. That's the last 100 rows. It basically gives me the last 100 rows, right? So if I keep scrolling down, I also want to get the historical data. So if I run this, so you can see the first visualization I created, right? Using the same library, which is what MPL Finance. This MPL Finance library, I'm able to get what this visualization. This is more like a candlestick kind of visualization. It gives more like a trend. So it shows me the trend that okay, I ended the date somewhere. I can't remember when I ended the date. Let's just continue. It's giving more like a trend, right? You can see the way crypto price has been going for ETH to BTC, right? To the time it went up, that's around August period. It later came down. I think it really came down during this period around that October. I'm not a trader, so I don't really know much about crypto. So it went up again. It went up again. I think this was more like the what they call it the bull and bear period. So I think this was the bull period. I was trying to go up back, but it came down again. So this is like the bear period, right? So I think it's getting better. It's getting better, but it's not really, it's really fluctuating. It's really fluctuating. So now what I want to do now, I want to now get the full analysis. If I run this last code, this is going to give me the last 100 days for what? ETH to BTC. So the last 100 days, how well it did and how low it went, right? So if you look at this now, right? Any place you see green, that means it was going up this period. So for those finance people that do a lot of financial analysis, that do a lot of crypto trading and the rest, all those guys, I don't really know how you guys do it. Like you stay in the computer and work on it all through the day, right? So this is how they basically do it. This is how they analyze, right? They check, okay, when it is red, that means it's actually going low. When it is green, That means the price is actually rising, it's rising. That means if you have crypto during this period, that means you're actually a big man. So it has dropped, it has risen up again, it has dropped, it really, really dropped significantly. It rose up again, it dropped, it rose up. So this was basically the visualization. This was gives you the total summary, right? I can see these are the volumes and this is the price. So the last 100 days, this is the analysis for the ETH, that's Ethereum to BTC for the last 100 days, right? So the next step, now after you've done the visualization part, now is to create a model. So for this model, I'll be using TensorFlow Keras. So let me check. I think I'm having some messages. Everything is there. See, if you open this, okay, I will meet you. But everything is there. Okay, let's just continue. When I'm done, I will answer that question. So now for section B now, right? This is where you do the prediction. So for this section, I won't be doing future prediction. The reason why is that cryptocurrency is very, very volatile. If I tell cryptocurrency will rise today, just by a tweet for people like Elon Musk, it will drop or it might rise. So it's very, very volatile. So I don't do future prediction. I'm not going to do any future prediction for this section. I'm not doing any future prediction for this section. I'm only going to show you. I'm only going to do the prediction of the ones that have already been gotten. So this is actually a very, very volatile data, so it's unpredictable. So the libraries I'll be needing what they call the SK length for preprocessing, which I'll be importing both the min and max scalar just for standardizing my data. Also for my TensorFlow Keras. Okay, so for the TensorFlow Keras, right? I would think you guys need to install TensorFlow Keras for you to go along with this, because it's actually a long process. TensorFlow takes like 40 minutes to install. Let's say give or take, depending on your internet speed, it takes like, back then when I used to install it with the very, very slow internet, I used to spend like at least 45 minutes. But last time I installed it, I think I spent like just 25 minutes or so to install it, right? So the libraries I'm needing sklearn, that's the minimum and max scalar. That's for standardizing my data. I'll also be needing TensorFlow Keras. So the layers I'm needing for TensorFlow Keras is my dense layer, my drop down, and my LSTM. That's the learning curve I'll be using, LSTM. I'll also be using sequential for TensorFlow Keras. So I'll just run this. Take a little bit of time. Okay, awesome. So I want to get the historical data again. Right, so this is the historical data, right? So after you got the historical data, you have to standardize the data, right? So I'll be dealing with the closed data. That's the closed volume. This one over here, this column over here. This is what I'll be dealing, because this is the close in price. Remember, I told you that when you start a trade, you start with the opening price and the closing price. Usually, the opening price and closing price are never the same. It's rarely you see an opening price and a closing price end the same way. So you start with the opening price, the closing price. So most times people deal with the closing price. That's what, out of everything, throughout the whole trading day, what did they close with? That's what the closing price talks about. What was the ending price? What was the closing price for the everything? So the closing price, that's what I'm trying. I'm dealing with what? The closing price. I have to standardize the closing price. So I'll run this. Okay. So I'm predicting for the last 60 days. My prediction will be based on the last 60 days using what? A neural network. So I'm dealing with the last 60 days. So I'll run this. But remember, I'm not doing future prediction for the next 60 days. No. Because I told you, cryptocurrency is very, very volatile. It's very volatile. If I do a prediction for the next 60 days, and maybe let's say for instance now, God forbid there's a war somewhere or something's happening, crypto price will definitely drop. So there's so many external factors that affect it. So I'm not doing cryptocurrency prediction for the future days. I'm doing for the current day we are, which is the last 60 days. I'll compare it with my predicted days and the actual dates. You get? Now, so after I've run, that's for the last 60 days. So I'll create for neural network. I have to have what? A train and a test set. So I have my X train, I also have my Y train, and I've created a follow to look through everything. But this is just some technical terminologies for when you're training your model, you have to split it between the train set and your test sets. So just run this. Okay, so this is the model I've created, right? It's a very, very simple model. If you want to improve your model, you can use things like process model, things like using mobile nets, things like GTP, all those new transformer interface, all those new models that came up. But first, I'm building my model from scratch. It's a very, very simple model, right? So I said what model dot equals to sequential. This was to activate it. Model dot add LSTM. LSTM is the learning curve. right? That's the learning curve I'm using. So the return sequence is true. The shape is what? I'm using a shape of X of 1. So I'm having only one input entering, right? So I also added a dropout. So dropout is used to prevent what? Overfitting. So it's something we call overfitting. That means when the data learns too much. Okay. Oh, my screen just stopped. Okay, just give me a second. Oh, my PowerBI my Excel just crashed. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. Okay. I'll open the book now. Oh, this isn't funny. Okay, just 1 minute. I think I have it somewhere. Let me just copy the link here. Okay, I'll copy this. Sorry about that. So I don't know. I think just went off now. Very interesting. So I'll copy this local host. I'll go back to my Edge. Edge has been misbehaving lately. I don't know why they've been doing like this. They've been really been misbehaving lately. Okay, let's come back up. They've been misbehaving. I hope this saving close. That's the thing. Okay. Did it close? That's what I'm not even sure about right now. Let me check the entire. Let me stop sharing my screen, my face. Let me move the camera first of all. Okay. Then let me just confirm if it is still up. It should still be up because of I didn't close it. Sorry about that. I don't know why as it took like it just went up. Okay. So I assume it's still up. So overfitting just when you overtrain your model. So the dropout is used to prevent things like overfitting of your data. You get the next thing now is the return. That's the return. I added 3 levels of dropout. That means I added 3 levels of what to prevent overfitting. So that's three. And the first one is what I removed the dropout of what 20%. That's 0.2. The second one is also 20%, 0.2. The third one also about 20%, 0.2 to prevent what dropout. So the last step, which is what my dense layer, my dense is now my output. My output. So I want a unit of just only one. Right, so the optimization, I'm using what Adam optimization, and my loss, I'm using what mean square error for my loss. So that's it's just more like a calculation terminology you can also use. And after I've done that, I say what fits into my X train and Y train, and the amount of epochs, that's the amount of training I want to do. That's the amount of iteration. I want to do just 50 iterations with a batch size of what 30. That's 30 by batches, right? So I want a 50 iteration. That's it's going to train the model 50 times. That's 50 iteration for 32 batches each. So if I run this might take a little bit of time. Let me run this. So let's see. So it's running. So first epoch. So that's 1 out of 50 epochs. Well, this is going to take a lot of time. Okay, so as that is going on, let me check the question. Let me answer any question. So, Ron said that please, but sir, the data transformation and processing isn't in the notepad posted on GitHub. It's actually there. So let me that's what's the name? Let me make you a speaker, right? So I'll show you what everything is there. So where's from? Where's from? I can't even find from right. Okay, I found you. So I'll make a speaker, right? Make a presenter. So you can mute yourself. So what I did now, if I go to why this one is trained, let me go to my GitHub, right? So in my GitHub, which I showed you, this is the GitHub code here, right? This is GitHub code. Where you open, nothing is here. This is the file here. Can I see the file? Binance Analysis API.pbyn. That's Python notebook. If you click on it, if you open it, it will load the code. This is the file. As I said, download everything. Download the entire repo. For some of you that use GitHub, this is the entire repo. So it's loading because the data is actually much. It's loading. This is loading. This is loading. This is loading. So this is where you get the code. This is the code itself. It's actually inside of. I'll be able to answer our question. So the code is actually there. So let me see if there's another question. Okay. So yeah, the record will be made available. Okay, yeah. So let's wait. Let me see. This is still running. I mean, has it done now? That was done 28 out of 50. Okay. Actually, I didn't make the model too complex because I know that it will take time to iterate and everything. I just made a very simple layer. I think I just did like 5 layers of model, so it makes it very fast to use. Get 5. If you have any questions, still keep dropping it. Why the model is training? I'll wait for you. Okay, I think I have a question. Okay, thanks. Okay, the code is there. It's there. If I okay, why is that now? It's actually opening now. Let me open my GitHub again. I don't know why the GitHub is not even answering me right now. Okay, GitHub. So if you open the code, it's actually there. Just that you have to load it. Yeah. See. So this voila, see the code now. This is the code, but this is taking time to load because of I'm running something right now. At least it doesn't crash. Yeah, so the code is there. It's there. It's there. I just pray this thing doesn't crash. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? I still know whether that's any question. So I'm waiting for the thing to keep training. It's still training. It's actually this GitHub I opened that is making this thing to hang now. My stem has hanged. Okay. Let's just wait. Let's see. Just give me a minute. Please. Let me just close my notepad. Okay. I want to close this notepad because I'm running something. Okay. Because I was doing present. But let's just wait. Let's just wait. If this doesn't work, I'll just close it. I know what I'll do. Okay, let me just close this for now. Just give me a second. So I've closed that. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll open it again, but I'll use the one I've already done already. Just Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook. Okay. Okay. So documents. From documents, you have Python scripts. From Python scripts, Binance. So this is actually the end result. Let me just show you the end result. Because of time and the way the network, this is actually running. So what I was actually trying to do, I was trying to train my model, right? So if I scroll down, now, right? I scroll down. So this was actually what I was. This was where I was. This was where you train your model. When you train to the 50th epochs, right? You have to create a summary of the report. So this is the entire summary, right? It's telling me, okay, this is the shape. So I'm using the LSTM model. I have a drop down. I have a LSTM. I have another drop down. LSTM. I have another drop down. And the dense is actually my output. I have only one layer of output. So the amount of layers of the model I created and just only what it's a 7-layer model. After this, now I have what they call the start date and the end date, right? So the start date I started from 1st of January 2022 to the end date. So the end date is now what? Now means if you write now in Excel, now in Excel gives you both what date and time. So I'm creating a model, a prediction from what? The 1st of January 2022 to today, which is what? 14, because I'm not running this again. I've already closed because of time and everything. So it's going to give me a data set. I'm going to just do some something. But let me show you how the end results. I don't everything. These are the end results will look like. So I'm basically comparing the actual and the so the actually the dark color are the actuals. Can you see these are the actuals, right? Why is and you can see it's actually very, very close. They're very, very similar to each other. You can see there's not much difference here. Everything that means actually the model predicted almost correctly. But this is I'm not predicting for future. I didn't do any future prediction. Remember, I did only what historical prediction. That's okay. The what it has predicted before. I'm not predicting it to confirm if the model is actually predicting the right thing. If I want to do future prediction, it's actually very, very tricky. Because why? Cryptocurrency is very, very volatile. I won't advise you to do prediction for cryptocurrency data because it's very, very volatile. Just a single statement can affect the whole prediction and you might tend to lose money. So I don't advise people doing future prediction. If you are very, very comfortable with that, you can do it at your leisure time. So that's just all. So this is the end goal. The end goal is just to make a prediction. Because of my Excel, it didn't crash several times. So I'll just show you just actually what I was trying to gain at the end of the session. So any question? questions? I'll stop sharing my screen. Any question? Any question? If you have any question, you can raise your hands up. Any question? Any question? I guess no question. I guess no question. Okay, if no question, I'll show you the next session I'll be having is by the next session I'll be having is by 6 p.m. So I'll share my screen with you so you can see the next session. But if you have any question, raise your hands up or drop a comment below. So let me just scroll a little bit. So this next session I'll be having by 6 p.m. We're having what? How to perform customer segmentation in Python by Ibrahim. So I'll just copy the link for some of you that might want to join us by 6 p.m. Okay, because we'll be closing very soon, less than. Okay, someone has a question. Okay. So for some of you that want to join by 6 p.m., we'll be having this section. Also, let me share the link. So the recording will also be made available on our YouTube channel. I'll answer a question. Just give me a second.